Alright everyone, it's time to respond to a Jonathan Greenblatt, actually the head of the ADL and CEO there, actually talking about a story about Bitchute, and the ADL of course has its own little ditty on there and helpfully links it out, but link in the description, you can check this out for yourself. Hate speech, neo-Nazi propaganda, anti-Semitic QAnon conspiracy theories, even terrorism, it's all there. A good piece from Matt Binder breaking down exactly what you find on video hosting site Bitchute. More from ADL here, and give the blog link. Now, it's hilarious. When I see stuff like this, first and foremost, it's sampling bias, right? If you go on Bitchute and you search for Nazi stuff, you're going to find it. You'll find the same thing on Twitter if you search for it, and on YouTube, and Facebook, and literally everywhere else. Seek and ye shall find. If you have a platform, which is acting as an actual platform, and not editorializing especially, under US or UK law, allowing free speech and expression, you will find things that you find abhorrent. You'll find, if you go on Twitter, you'll find fucking hardcore porn if you're searching for it. The fact that some people find that obscene or transgressive doesn't mean that the site has banned it. In the case of Bitchute, the whole point of alt tech is to platform the deplatformed, at least in the initial sense. It's grown much more as a site now. It's got enough users. Most of the stuff on the site now isn't even political. Most of the stuff you find on Bitchute, if you search for makeup tutorials, ASMR, bodybuilding, fishing, survival tips, photography, if you search for literally anything under the sun, you'll find examples of it on Bitchute. We're talking many millions and millions of videos, with considerable number uploaded every day. I find it very, very funny how time and time again, when these hit pieces are made, or when someone like Greenblatt decides to weigh in, there is never even the slightest attempt to reach out to people who utilize the platform, its actual user base, its supporters, or the people who run it. There's, in rare cases, they'll ask for a statement from the person who runs the site, and then when they give a statement, they'll just twist it around anyway and put it out in an altered, edited form to the point where the person's saying something a 180 from what they actually meant, taken completely out of context. I've never, for example, despite the fact that I'm by far the largest user on this platform, I'm one of the largest names in alt tech, I mean, cross-platform. I've got an enormous presence on YouTube where I'm actively shadow banned, which is part of the reason I use Bitchute and similar sites. I am never consulted, for example, by any of these people that talk about these sites. I know firsthand, because I speak with them, that the leaders of these alt tech sites are rarely, if ever, contacted by them. It's just a slew of hit pieces that rely upon the gullibility of an audience that won't fact check. If you go on Bitchute and you search for material that you find objectionable, you will probably find it. You can do that on any other site too. You can definitely do that on mainline tech. It may be editorialized, but it is there. YouTube still contains, Hitler speeches and shit like that. It's still there for public consumption. Some of it's historical material. Some of it's commentary. Some of it's both. Some of it's just opinion pieces and shit. Material like that is there. The idea that terrorist recruitment videos are on Bitchute is true and false at the same time. They are uploaded, they are flagged, and they are removed. This is exactly the same as YouTube. It is not different. Greenblatt might as well link to an article saying, hey, we found ISIS recruitment material on YouTube. We found an Al-Qaeda video buried deep in the search results. Seek and ye shall find. YouTube may editorialize more, but illegal content is already removed from Bitchute, but it relies upon someone flagging the content. This means that if it gets noticed and flagged in an hour, it gets removed quickly. If nobody sees it for a week and Greenblatt's the first person using the site to find it, he can complain and bitch and whine and moan about it, but it would get removed. The proper thing is you flag it, and then it gets moderated. As far as content that is legal, it shouldn't be banned in the first place, and this is the other thing. And the ADL, I'm sure Greenblatt's intelligent enough. He's not a simpleton. He certainly would understand this. The whole point is this, of alt tech. It's to platform things in general. This is the way that old line tech used to operate as well. There is no point to reducing people that you find objectionable to echo chambers. Number one, it doesn't actually suppress them. Number two, it tends to radicalize them. But that's the whole point. The ADL is not attempting to tackle hate when it defames alt tech. It's doing it on behalf of big tech. It partners with YouTube and sites like that explicitly. The ADL is explicitly partnered with it, and these sites brag about it, explicitly holds court with people like Jack Dorsey and Sundar Pichai. So because that is the case, there's an inevitable conflict of interest in a hit piece like this being reposted by the CEO of the ADL, because the ADL explicitly works with those sites. I would say the initial report, most of these journos, whether they're politically motivated or not, and sometimes they are. If they're missing link media, generally it's for partisan purposes. If they're not missing link media, it's just sort of their fake journalism. These individuals typically are partnered with mainline tech too. Mainline tech explicitly partners. YouTube explicitly algorithmically promotes, for example, CBS and Fox News and NPR and all of the other mainline sites, and HuffPost and Salon and some of the missing link media firms too. It explicitly partners with them and promotes them. It explicitly endorses their content by algorithmically demoting me, algorithmically demoting some of you when we talk about news, current events, and politics. It is explicit. So when these journos and these firms start attacking Bitchute or Odyssey or Rumble or Parler or Gab or Subscribestar or Brighteon or a million other alternative sites, no shit they're going to do that. One hand washes the other. It's a corporate monopoly. These sites have formed a vertical monopoly, which is already at least dubious in legality under existing U.S. antitrust laws, I will mention, by the way, in the sheer verticality of it, especially when it crosses over into things like payment processing, registrars, and so forth. It gets into an entirely different can of worms. What Greenblatt is doing here is showing essentially feigned ignorance. It's feigned ignorance. He could go to the site himself. He could make a page. The ADL could have a Bitchute page, and it could spread its material on Bitchute, and it would have dicey comment sections if they, choose to accept them at all, and it'd be very, very entertaining. And yes, there are neo-Nazis in the comment section. You get that on YouTube too. When's the last time that the ADL did a stink piece about YouTube needing to do more to stop hate? No, they're fine with it right now. When they want more money from them, they'll make another stink piece. And then behind closed doors, they'll basically settle with YouTube. That's what ends up happening with these sites. This is defamatory material, in essence, because it lies by omission. You take a very small proportion of the content on a site that you don't like, that you want destroyed, and you fixate on that very small portion of content that most people would find objectionable or extreme or something. You ignore 99% of the content on the site. If you like a site, then you focus not on the proportion of material that's objectionable. And there would be far more objectionable videos on YouTube at large as an actual number than on Bitchute, certainly, simply because of size differentials. No, you fixate on what they've done right, in quotations. What they're doing that's noble. Oh, here's the efforts that they made to crack down on hate speech, to crack down on fake news, to crack down on extremists, libertarians and shit. You focus on that. It's a lie by omission. It's a lie by sample. I've spoken about this. The biggest lies are lies by omission and lies with sampling bias. Sampling bias is you're a fact checker. Two politicians each make 100 statements. 50% are true, 50% are false. It's objective. They're objective statements that are being made, like on taxes or something. I'm a fact checker. I like candidate A. I fucking hate candidate B. Just rubs me the wrong way. Maybe I got paid off by candidate A. So I'll fact check 70 statements. I'll fact check all of the true statements and only 20 of the false ones from candidate A, because I want them to win. I'll do the opposite for candidate B. I've just turned candidate B into a serial liar, and I've largely whitewashed candidate A. I've largely cleaned up their image. They look like they tell the truth a lot more than candidate B. Well, they don't. I've lied. Or I can lie by omission. I can just simply completely ignore news that is bad for candidate A and fixate single-mindedly on that which is bad for candidate B. We've seen this for the last 4 years, certainly. There's no question about it. Even the fucking mainstream media itself, in its own self-analysis, admits to it. And that's just one example. That's just from the realm of electoral politics. When you're talking about this kind of craptivism, there is an inherent lie and an inherent conflict of interest in this material. There's no attempt to reach out to the users on site. Did Greenblatt even bother to look at the top users on the site? Did you even look at who's big on the platform? Very, very few of them have particularly nationalistic beliefs. You have moi, me, myself, and I. I'm a libertarian. I have no ethno-nationalistic beliefs. I believe in maximized liberty, and I make a lot of non-political content as well. And the content that I've got on Bitchute, other than the exclusives, is exactly the same as that which I've got on YouTube. That's because my content is not extreme. It is not hateful. I'm accepted on mainline tech. I'm shadow banned there. They try to suppress the material, but I'm not banned from the site. The same is true of Twitter and Facebook, which I no longer actively use, and a bunch of others. WordPress and shit like that. I mean, Amazon. Because the material is either not political at all or it's not extreme. I'm a libertarian. I'm more like a Ron Paul. Number 2 is InfoWars. InfoWars was not deplatformed due to anti-Semitism or terrorist recruitment. It was banned due to conspiracy theories. The official explanation was Sandy Hook-related conspiracy theories. And defamation, which I don't know how that case played out. I think it was settled out of court. Not extremism. You can say it's objectionable. You can say it's warped and false. It's fake news. But you can't call Alex Jones an anti-Semite. You can't call him a Nazi. Not with a straight face. Not if you're being honest. X22 report, I believe, is more like alt-light. Don't know enough about that channel. He's number 3. You've got people like Malnew. He was banned off mainline tech not for being a Nazi, not for being recruiting terrorists or being anti-Semitic, but because of his criticism of third-wave feminism. Because of misogyny, is what they said. You go down to Dave Cullen, who he had his Twitter removed. He's big on Bitchute. He's still on YouTube. He's still, on most mainline tech sites. Again, other than Twitter, I can't remember why he got banned. He's one of the biggest users on the site. Nobody ever claimed that he was a Nazi. He's a fucking liberal. Dave Cullen's a fairly liberal individual. He's kind of like me. He generally fixates on tech, gaming, anti-censorship. That's basically it. Anti-social justice war, you could say. Some of the skeptics have a presence. You look at former skeptic like Sargon. Sargon was defamed in the Data Society report. He was simultaneously listed under his 2 different channel monikers as being both alt-light and what was it? Just far-right in general, or something, conservative or something. The whole mess. The same person was listed twice. Or no, dissident intellectual. Dissident intellectual and alt-light at the same time. And 2 separate categories. He's big on the platform. Well, he's got 3 channels there. He's got like 80-some-odd thousand subscribers on one, although he, for some reason, stopped uploading there, and I can't imagine why. He's also got the Sargon Daily and now the Lotus Eaters, which is his new project. I guess he's trying to change his image or something like that. He's big on the platform. Well, he's not a Nazi. You can claim that he's hateful or whatever, but that moniker never really sticks. What sticks? What about Paul Joseph Watson? Again, some people are like, well, he's misogynistic. He's homophobic. He's crude. Okay, do you believe him to be an anti-Semite? The claim being made here by Greenblatt is specifically Nazi stuff, terrorist recruitment, anti-Semitism. Illegal content or content that is transgressive in the ethno-nationalistic sense. How many of the top, say, 50 users on the platform are ethno-nationalists? They're getting flack from the ethno-nats now because they banned the was it Nordic resistance page or something. I get a legal query or some shit. So they're doing their part. They're not allowing the recruitment videos. ISIS videos got banned off the platform. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you got to also understand, Bitchute is at that stage where they're growing enough so that they're on the radar. They're taking flack because they're over the target, but they're not yet big enough to effectively defend themselves against defamation, in the legal sense or otherwise. That's the sum and substance of it. They're trying to contain Bitchute long enough to get rid of them, crush the site out. They're trying to prevent it from growing because it's a competitor to sites that partner with the mass media and its craptivistic allies. Explicitly literally all of the main Silicon Valley firms are explicitly partnered in one way or another with the entire MSM. Don't you think that this sort of thing, therefore, this defamation, which is the only word I can use for it, is a conflict of interest, a lie by sampling, and a lie by omission all at the same time? Of course it is. And Greenblatt, I doubt, is going to reach out to Ray Vahey, or Kaufman, or Bill Ottman, or any of the other main names in alt-tech. Not going to reach out to any of the main creators that utilize it for an explanation of why you use this Nazi site. I could explain it in a nutshell. Because I'm shadow banned on YouTube, these sites are growing, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about delivering a product to my audience. So I'm going to upload it to as many sites as possible, feasibly, as a one-man show. That's about all. Peace out.